Alright, welcome guys to another Blender live stream. I'm your host Morgan Ozpin, and today we are going to be continuing on the wrestling animation we did. While chatting with you guys, as always, as I work here in Blender. Now, might as well just show you guys what I've done here so far for my wrestling animation. If I switch this to object mode, and I put this on to get all these things on hidden. I've created I've tweaked a little bit of the 3D animation that's happening right now. So I'm just gonna hide some of these stuff here, like this freaking empty image here. And I am also gonna bring up my wrestler 3D model over here. So I did a bit of some tweaking with the animation here. It's a very solid tweak, because I noticed while I was playing the 3D animation offline, the backflip from the top rope here up to the point where he lands is kinda felt a little too stiff. So I did some changes with the animation here, so that it feels much more like this guy is bringing an impact towards this wrestler who is unconscious. So yeah, I did a bit of tweaking. I made sure to animate the legs like flinching when he lands the blow here, and I made him bounce a little bit. Because I noticed that every time wrestlers go for a frog splash from the top rope, there is a little bit of a bounce when they land on a wrestler. I don't know, you just go watch like a WWE clip and you'll see some references of people landing on top of other people from the top rope, and there's a little bit of a bounce to their to their bodies. I don't know. So I let that I sort of just tweak a little bit of the animation here, so that they sort of land as if it's real or something. So on today's stream, we will be making the outlines for this one character, because I want to, how do I say this? I want to make this, of course, into a 2.5D animation, and it requires me to turn everything here into a grease pencil object, and that requires me to draw each frame of my animation manually, and we'll just see how this goes. So let's start off with the first frame here, which is around this one. By the way, I've already like colored up and everything else here. I just need to like make the extra frames for this one guy, and we're set to go. We're good to go to render this animation. And of course, you still need to make the frames for this guy and a referee character that I still haven't animated. But overall, that's what we're heading on in this stream. Okay, so let's give you guys some context on how this looks right now. So this guy's gonna climb the top rope. Then he's gonna go for there. Yep, there we go. He's gonna go for the land, but as you can see, he sort of like just freezes over, which is why I did a little bit of that that extra bounce animation to the 3D model, just to make the land much more convincing. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and animate on the second frame here from the previous frame. And I'm just gonna hide everything else here, like this one and the cowboy. Wrestler can stay though. Alright. What else? I guess that's it. So let's go ahead and make a new frame on my grease pencil object. And while we do so, I want to give you guys a little bit of a chat here while I draw. I feel like these streams are just a outlet for me to to do some just chatting streams while doing stuff on the background. By the way, is the audio turned on? Okay, nice. Okay, so I'm calling the stream. I'm gonna be attending a run race tomorrow because, as what the title suggests, I will be absent from this channel for the majority of the day tomorrow because wrong freaking material. I'm gonna be absent for the majority of the day tomorrow because I will be going across my country to join a run race. I can't really tell you guys which run race it is because I don't want to dox myself, but I just want to announce that I will be attending a race tomorrow, and it will be pretty fun for me, I guess. I'm not like that much of a competitor in terms of these sorts of races. I just like try to race as leisurely as I can. Although I did used to be much more competitive when it comes to these sorts of sports-like activities. But now that you know I'm an adult with responsibilities, I can't really just be as competitive as I was back when I was like a kid or something. So I am just attending this specific run race to, I don't know, just have some fun. Because it was like my mom that sort of invited me over. She's like a part of this specific running club back then, and they decided to go for a reunion on this one specific run race, and they invited us to come with them. And her club also was allowing them to bring guests over so that they can also run the race as well. And as a mom, she just decided to invite me because I was also a little bit of a runner back in my day. And bada bing bada boom, we are now in the situation where I am now going to be running 10 kilometers tomorrow in a place somewhere in the Philippines. It's I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like I'm like betraying my inner child self by attending this race, because I remember back then when I was like a kid, I would absolutely hate running as a kid. Because I'm not really back then. I wouldn't call myself a sports fan in any sense. I was never into watching like the things that most kids are watching back then, like the NBA or FIFA or especially not American football. I'm not I'm not an American, so I'm not really into those popular sports back in the day. So I was also not a fan of running as well. And how I got into running was kind of a coincidence. Not really coincidence, but how I got into running is actually through sheer force by my dad, because he was looking at how unfit of a fat kid I was back in the day, and he just decided that, hey, I should put my kid into some sports related activities. And the first thing that he put me into was like basketball, because I think most Filipinos can relate to this. Basketball is just our American football, because I see Americans always talk about how football is like a religion or something in their part of the world. In the Philippines, it's basketball. In some places, it's soccer, but in the Philippines, the go-to sport is basically basketball. And I was like a part of my school's like varsity team for a bit back when I was around like grade 6, and we would like compete against some famous schools back then, like San Beda or I forget like some of the other ones, but there's some beta. There is also there's something like Larry B. It's like a it's like a foreign exchange school. I forgot what it's called, like Brit. God damn, it's like the one in Laguna or something. It's Brit something. I forgot. But yeah, basically I was like part of a varsity team once, and I was like competing with all these other schools that also had like a middle school basketball team to their roster. But I remember just like hating the idea of playing basketball. Because I just wasn't like the competitive type of person or the kind of person that would be into sports. But yet my dad like sort of like pushed me into the sports up until like maybe grade 6 when, or no, grade 7 when I suddenly like moved schools and became like a homeschooler, which is a completely different story that I might talk about at some later stream. But once I got into homeschooling, I couldn't join my freaking varsity team because I'm no longer a part of the school that I was in. So my dad decided that instead of getting me into team sports, he would get me into running, because I think back then my dad was a big runner, or not really a big runner, but also like a running enthusiast. He would always talk about how him and my mom would go out every day before I was born to run every morning, and after every morning run they would go to Tropical Hut, like this restaurant establishment, and just eat some burgers after they run. It's a pretty good routine for them to be a part of. And he wanted me to sort of experience what it's like to, you know, run in a way. But not only does he want me to like run or engage in this specific sport, he also wanted me to like actually be competitive at it. To a point that, you know, I'm like running sets around a cemetery near our house. We would like have these specific exercise routines wherein we would like run 500 meters times 10, where in each set we like rest for like 30 seconds, but we don't just run at a slow speed. We have like a specific time to get for each of these sets, and we were pretty serious about it. The point where I'm like running like at a 4-minute pace in a 10-kilometer run. And if you've ever like done like marathons or run races before, you would know how difficult it is to maintain a 4-minute pace in a 10-kilometer run. And I remember, like, I think my longest race back then was like a 32-kilometer run, and I think it was like the only, because here's the thing: whenever we attend run races back in my day, I never once was tempted to how to say this, to walk. Even though, you know, it's like it's an option for these races that you can walk. But my dad always stresses to me, hey, you should probably not walk, because if you walk, you're gonna lose your placement in this run race, and you know that's not good for me. So if I'm ever gonna be walking in this races, people are gonna like, my dad's gonna like smack me or something. So my longest race ever was like a 32-kilometer run, and I remember that this was like, I think, the first time in my life that I actually walked in a race. Because it was just such a hard freaking race to complete. Not only is it like 32 kilometers long, but we are also running around the mountainside. Not to say it's a trail run, it's like, of course there's still roads. We're running across roads, but this road was like paved across a mountainside, so there were a lot of uphills and downhills, mostly uphills, and I was just not having this this specific run race, to a point that I actually decided to walk in this specific race. But just based on that one fact that I don't walk, just speaks to how serious my family is when it comes to these activities. But now I'm no longer like that serious. I think my parents have already let me decide how I would approach my health routines going forward, and I am now the one in charge of, you know, keeping myself healthy. And and if there's like one good thing that comes out of this this specific forcing of me into these run races, is that I did eventually learn to love running, and you know, just keeping yourself healthy in general. Because what people don't really, I guess the one thing that my dad never really taught me back then is that when you work out, you kind of have this adrenaline flow going on that just keeps you optimistic throughout the rest of your day. Like, even beyond the workout that you do in the early morning, you just get this adrenaline rush that just keeps you pumped out for the rest of the day. And that's why I'm kind of like into running now, I guess. But maybe just not the competitive part of running. That's why I'm not into. But I will, if people were to invite me to like a 5-kilometer or 10-kilometer run, I would just say yes. I would say yes to that. And that's why I am now in a situation where I will be attending a run race tomorrow. Did I train for it? Absolutely, of course. Why would I? I would not attend. I would not accept an invitation to a marathon and not train for it, of course. I started running around the place where I am staying right now. And as I was training, I realized that for the longest time I haven't really been training for an uphill sort of route. Because back in my old place, I would run at this place that was like mostly flat and all. But since I've moved, I no longer have access to this specific place, so I decided to try out this new place, and I realized that when I was training on this particular place, that it had more uphills than the one that I trained at before. So I was like, oh my god, this is I just realized how like unfit I was during the start of my training. But eventually I did get used to the uphills, and now I'm happy to say that even with uphills, I can like keep a pace of around like 5 minutes 30 or 5 minutes 20. It's hard for me to now understand what's my pace right now, because I no longer have a sports watch with me to keep track of my distance and time. Although I do use like maybe like Google Maps to see how long my distance chances are after a run. But based on my own estimates, I think my pace is around like 5:30, 5:20, I think. And to me, that's already like good enough. Especially through uphills and downhills, that's like it's like more than enough, I guess. So yeah, I of course trained for this race, and all the while I've also been, of course, biking. I think I've already told you guys this before. I've been biking a lot lately. Although my mom sort of hypes it up as a way for me to train for this run race, but based on my own opinion, I'm not like a physician or anything, but based on my own opinion, I don't really think biking does you any good in terms of training yourself for a marathon or a run race. Because to me, I feel like biking and running just trains very different muscles at a different pace, I would say. With biking, I feel like biking is more so like strength training for specific muscles in your legs. But when it comes to like running is more so like an endurance training thing. Because with biking, I don't think people really tell you this. Biking is like the reason why I think biking is like such a hard sport is because you're training your legs to push this bike to speeds that you would want to attain. So technically speaking, biking is more so strength training, but with and while you're biking, like you could like rest. You know, like if ever you like encounter like a downhill while you bike, you could just like stop pedaling and let your bike go with this force of gravity, I guess, and you'll still move forward. But with running though, running feels more like an endurance training, because if you ever like encounter a downhill, you can't just like stop your legs from moving and expect yourself to move with the force of gravity. Like when you stop, you know. Unlike with biking, if you stop pedaling but you're at a downhill, you can still move forward. But with running, you still need to like move your freaking legs forward in order to, you know, move forward. So that's why I consider like running and biking two different things, two different workouts that I don't really think have any sense of overlap in terms of training you for a run race. Maybe if you are training for like 100-meter dash or something, maybe a biking can help you with that. But biking doesn't really train you to like endure a long distance run, I would say, because it's like there's like moments of rest when you bike, unlike with running, wherein you do have like, assuming that you don't like walk when you run. Running is like an endurance sport, while biking isn't. So that's why I think like biking and running isn't really like, the biking isn't really a good way for you to train for a run race. But even though I know about this fact, I still do like bike sometimes, just because I just find biking really fun. I haven't really biked a lot back when I was a kid, but once I discovered, or once my relative gave me this bike for when I moved to this new place, I just used it non-stop whenever I can. because I realize as I bike that I don't really go out that often. If I do go out, it's either because of school or go to my parents' clinic, get a checkup or something, or to learn a thing or two about dentistry. But I don't really go out that often to like just experience, just touch grass or something. So when I finally got this bike, I just decided to just explore around the cities around my new place, and I just had like a blast just having this freedom to like go around places and see what's around every corner and nook and cranny. I feel like a highlight for me whenever I bike is when I go towards Manila Bay, because Manila Bay, people say it's like a dirty place, but if you actually go to the road near Manila Bay, there's not really a good view of the trash, and it doesn't really smell that bad. And it just feels like you're in a beach, technically, if you don't look too much towards the dirty waters of Manila Bay. And yeah, whenever I go biking, I always look forward to going to Manila Bay, especially on a Sunday. Sundays is when the road near that place is closed from cars, and you just get these people waking up early in the morning just to run around this specific road. And it's fun, being a part of these groups of people that also wants to work out with you as you bike around this beautiful setting. And Filipinos are also very nice. I don't know what's like with other people outside of my country, but people are very friendly. I remembered once that I biked with my brother and my mom, and I also had this uncle who came with us. And we decided that when we reached Bagumbayan, or Rizal Park, which is like a place near Manila Bay, we took a picture of one of the statues there. And while we were there, my uncle freaking wanted to get a good shot of this picture, so he asked someone to help a complete stranger, to help him with his photo. And as someone who doesn't really go out that often, I thought that this guy would just shrug him off, but no. The guy just willingly took his demand, took a picture of us in the park, and just like that, they were just like talking nonstop. I don't know if it's just extroverted side of my uncle coming into light, but I feel like Filipinos are just like that. They're just very nice people. You never like see them like do anything or say anything negative in public. And that's like, I guess that's one of the wonders of biking, I guess. Let me just make this specific frame here. Okay, anything else I need to do here? I don't think so. Wait. Alright. Now let's go for the next frame. By the way, is my tracking software working? Okay, it's working. Alright, I need to now move to the next frame here. Anyway, back to this race. I freaking trained for it. I made I keep on like forcing myself to wake up early in the morning to run, and if I can't wake up early in the morning, I would do like an afternoon run. Although I don't really haven't really done a lot of afternoon runs when I was training for the specific race. Because I think I remember doing one afternoon run during my training, and I was just so parched by the end of it. Like Manila is just not a, or the Philippines, I guess, it's just not a country that is willing to turn down the temperature, I must say. Like especially during the summer, we are experiencing like a lot of heat waves, a lot of rainfall, but mostly heat waves. And when you're in a heat wave, you just can't help but sweat profusely. I remember like doing this one afternoon run back in the day, and when I returned home, I was just drenched in freaking sweat. Like you would have mistaken me to have like taken a shower or doused myself in rainwater when I returned home, but no, it was all just 100% sweat that's dripping down from my freaking t-shirt. It's like it was that bad. Let me just make a frame here. So I don't really go for afternoon runs when I was training for the specific race. I make it a point to at least like wake up early in the morning, because early in the morning is when at least the temperature is just right. And before you ask me, well, if you're gonna be training for this race, shouldn't you train for the temperature that we'll be running on as well? And to that I say, well, the race I'm assuming, or the race I'm attending, is gonna be, you know, run early in the morning, so I don't really have to worry about extreme temperatures for this race. But you know, as a sort of security for my part, I did sometimes like do some. I did one last afternoon run earlier this month, or earlier this June, and when I did that one afternoon run, I was sort of surprised that the temperature wasn't as hot as I wanted to be. I mean, sure, I did like sweat a lot, but it never really bothered me the fact that the temperatures this afternoon wasn't as high as I expected it to be. Let me just save this freaking file. In fact, I would say this one afternoon run was like, I guess I felt most rewarded by this run compared to my other morning runs. I don't know, maybe because I was just so used to running early in the morning that maybe a change of setting was all that I needed. But after I did this one afternoon run, I just felt so. I just felt good, I guess. I don't know. It's like, again, it's this whole adrenaline rush of working out that I look forward to for every workout I do. And in this one specific instance, the adrenaline, I think, just overflowed like by a long shot, I guess. Other than running, I also considered on maybe changing up my freaking nutritional diet to prepare myself for this race. But I think I may have skipped out on that specific part of my training, because I remember for the start of my For the start of my training, I think I was eating unhealthy foods. I was eating like canned goods because it was like the only thing that's like easy to make for a college student like me. And I was eating like these canned corned beef and tuna. Canned tuna, I mean, so it's not really like the real tuna that would actually give you nutritional value. And I was eating these like processed meat, like bacon and ham. So I wasn't really eating that good during the start of my training. It was only when summer started that I really considered eating more healthier options. And for a Filipino, you'd think, oh, you just go eat sinigang or eat some of those vegetable stews that you see in Filipino cuisines. And you know, I did consider that, but I have to remember the fact that I am not a chef. And as someone who just cannot like buy these things in a... Oh, what the frick? What's that? I heard my freaking computer ding. Did something disconnected? I don't think so. Wait. Let's see. Okay, my mic is still on. Okay. I heard my computer ding and I thought something disconnected. A device of mine get disconnected, but I don't think it disconnected for a very long time. But anyway, what was I saying? I was talking about... Oh yeah, eating healthy. If you're ever like trying to eat healthy under using like Filipino cuisine, I feel like your options are like very expensive if you don't know how to cook your own dishes. Unless there's maybe you have a carinderia near you, but I don't have a carinderia near my place. And if you're gonna like order like sinigang or I don't know, like mongo or any of the other vegetable stews in a fancy ass restaurant, you're gonna get your money's worth. You're not gonna get your money's worth, I mean. So I decided, why not I go for the American way and just make a salad. I mean, a salad isn't really that much of a how do you say this, a hard thing to prepare. I mean, it's just like, it's basically just raw vegetables that you wash and cut, you know. So I got some lettuce, I got some tomatoes, I got some onions, because I feel like whenever people make salads, they never like consider how essential onions is in a dish like a salad. Because if you chop them to a fine tea, they do add like that extra flavor to your freaking salad. So when I was making the salad, I got some lettuce, some onions, some tomatoes. I've also got some cucumbers and some grinded carrots. And I also freaking make this Thousand Island sauce, and it's just, oh my god, it's so good. If you guys ever want to eat healthy, just go make a salad. I feel like that's not always the obvious choice for most people. Because I don't know, it's maybe they are not really looking into the grocery aisle that much, or the market aisle that much. But you know, if you ever want to eat healthy, just go make a salad, I guess, a Caesar salad specifically. The only downside, I guess, when trying to make a salad is that no one in my supermarket or in the market that I'm looking at is selling croutons. You know, like those... What even is crouton? Like a hard bread? Hard chunks of bread you put into a salad? Yeah, I don't see people sell those, surprisingly enough. and it's like the most essential part of any salad. You can only like find croutons if you're like ordering from like a fancy establishment like Shakey's here. Other than that, like croutons is just like a hard thing to find, and I don't know why. Maybe because no one is eating salads here, which is a shame. People should eat salads, guys. You guys need to learn to learn about the wonders of having a Caesar salad in your plate. It's just it doesn't take that much to prepare. It's cost efficient for the most part, and it's healthy overall. Although going back to this training I'm doing, there would be like some times when I just wouldn't have the resolve to make a salad for myself. So sometimes I'll just like maybe like just go for the easy option and go back to my canned food freaking diet or something. But if I'm not feeling up for a salad, I can always go for a sandwich, which I guess is the lesser of the two evils, I must say. Even though I put some bacon and ham into it, I do like put some onions, tomatoes, and lettuce into it to make it much more appealing to my doctor. So there's that. Let me just move this up to here. I get out. Just realized I didn't move a. Alright, let me just make a stroke over here. Move this over here. And let's make the edges of this glove here. There we go. Yeah, salad is a good. And I guess I'm ready for my race tomorrow. So wish me luck. Not that I need it. I'm not really like. It's not really that much of an intensive training for me. Although I must say, just to give you guys some story, I remember there was this one race wherein I got injured from a half marathon. So if you guys are not into the running community here, marathons are basically just 42-kilometer runs, while a half marathon is, you know, if you do the maths, it's just a 21-kilometer run. So, so back in the day, I once attended a half marathon with my brother, and you know, we unlike my other races, my dad was surprisingly lenient with this one, and let us run at our own pace. So I wasn't really worried about what's gonna happen in this specific run. But then, like somewhere around like the 16-kilometer run, the roads became very jagged, and by jagged I mean there were a lot of like potholes in the ground. That that felt like, you know, they're basically just like holes in the ground, you know. Not deep holes, but they're like holes either way. That if you step into them, you will catch yourself like tripping onto the hard pavement of this road. And I remembered like running in the 16-kilometer point of this race, and as I was like running through this road, This road was like completely dark, so I can't really see where I'm like running towards. And as I was like running through this road, I was like running at like a breakneck speed because, you know, it's only 5 kilometers left, so I wanted to like give it my all for this last 5 kilometers. As I was running this breakneck speed, my foot suddenly caught wind of this one hole in the ground, and the next thing I knew, I was like lying in the hard pavement of this road, and I look above me, and it was like my brother, like wondering if I was still good to go. And I look at my freaking knee, and oh my god, if you guys saw the gore fest that was my knee, I had like a lot of rocks and pebbles stabbed into my left knee. And it was at a state wherein my knee was like bleeding buckets of blood. I mean, I guess not bleeding, like it's not like I didn't injure like an artery or something, but it's like it was like the most blood I've ever seen coming out of my knee. And I was like, I looked at it, and then this rush of pain came into my whole body, and I tried to like fight it over. I tried to stand up and see if I can run, but I just can't. And I was like limping, trying to get myself to, you know, to walk. And if you ever saw like the passerbys that are like passing through me, they would have thought that I was like shot in the knee or something. My brother was like worried about me, so, like thinking, oh my god, Morgan, are you okay? Are you still good to run? You only have like 5 kilometers left. Can you still like keep going? And I told him, yeah. And I tried to run, but it's like, oh my god, this rush of pain every time I get my left foot to stride. So after like trying to fight off the pain, I just told my brother, hey, can you could just go do the run race without me. And he went and go. And I tried to like walk it off. But then like I think I fell off. I fell on the road again because my legs just completely gave out. And luckily for me, there was like a bunch of paramedics scouting the area just in case, you know, someone was injured, and they saw me and I was like, holy shit, this one guy is like bleeding buckets. So they took me to their ambulance. They got my freaking leg checked out. And I remember like they were really helpful in getting me they were like really helpful in getting me to mitigate this pain. And the doctors were like telling me, hey Morgan, you should probably like not do this race anymore. You should probably rest this out and and go back to your, you know, to your family or something. And I was like, no, I have to complete this race or else my freaking dad would be mad at me or something. Even though this was like one specific race where he was like very lenient on what we're doing, but my the paramedics were like trying to convince me to just not do this race anymore. But I was like, no, I must fight this pain. I must become like a Sigma and and complete this one race. And I was stupid. I was stupid to just to ignore the pain and continue with this race, because even though there's 5 kilometers left in this race, it was like 5 kilometers of torture. I just couldn't mitigate the pain, and I feel like I've come to regret my decision with that, because even up to now You can't believe it. You can't believe it because I don't have the camera with me to show my freaking knee. But even up to now, I can still see a scar from the injury that I took from that one specific race. Like if I look at my left knee, I can still see remnants. If I look at it right now, yeah, I can still see like remnants of the scar that used to be the hole that was bleeding buckets of blood. And it sucks, I guess. And I don't know, but even when I run, even when I start running, I can still like feel like this sort of internal pain that sometimes comes occasionally from my left knee, and I'm I'm kind of wondering whether that's like the cause of the effect of me willing to run this specific race after a serious injury. So my lesson is that from that experience is you never know what will happen in a race like these. You might get injured, you might make out fine, it might be fine, or I don't know, you might just die or something. I remember there was like these news articles of these people like dying in this one race called the Milo Marathon because they are so desperate for like making this one specific cutoff in the race that I guess they just end up like dying in this one race here, and I don't want that to happen to me. So if ever I encounter a serious injury in a race, I'll probably try to just, you know, not walk it up, but, you know, rather like rest maybe. So yeah. Alright, let me just make some of these frames, strokes here. There we go. Alright, let's make one more stroke here. So anyway, I guess that ends my talk with when it comes to the whole running race I'll be attending tomorrow. In other news, in regards to my channel, I have now created a power-up system, or at least I'm developing now a power-up system for my game. It's not complete yet, but it is working so far as I intended it to be. Just need to tweak out when the power-up will spawn in this game I'm making. As well as I need to change the structures of my enemy scenes in Godot. But it's all coming to fruition. It's just maybe the spawning system that I need to worry about now. I'll give you guys maybe a snippet of how the game looks like after the stream. So if you wanna see how my game looks, stick around till the very end, I guess. I've also created like a death animation for my enemies. Not for my Helibird player yet, because that's like still a work in progress. I want my animations for the player to be unique from the enemies, so that's still a work in progress. But anyway, you'll see it once we end the stream. Oh my god. Anyway, now I'm at the point in my project wherein I don't really think I need to look into tutorials anymore. Because I feel like all the answers I need is already within the scripts of my game, so that's good. Oh my god. Okay. I guess the one complaint I have with the structure of Godot right now is that it's the freaking nodes. It's the freaking nodes that I'm now implementing into my freaking game, because it's really crowding out the node outline in Godot. And I'm like looking at my nodes, I'm like, oh my god, this is such a cluttered mess. There's gotta be like a better way for me to organize my nodes, right? So yeah, I'm still not a big fan of the node system in Godot. Though then again, though, it does kind of remind me of the outline in Blender here. You basically need to get used to having a cluttered UI when I'm making games or animations here in this channel. Alright. Alright, okay, what else do we need to do? Let's do a stroke over here. No, we always talk about my run race. I think it's safe to assume that I won't be streaming tomorrow, of course. I'll be busy for the majority of my time tomorrow, and maybe even Monday, just to rest out my muscles from the race tomorrow. But got a schedule packed after my run race with my family tomorrow. Because after the race, my mom is like inviting me to go to have brunch with her in a Denny's establishment nearby. And I'm like, yo, Denny's, that's pretty good. Have you guys ever like eaten at Denny's? I feel like their menu is just it's just chef's kiss, you know. It's, yeah, I'm not expecting like the most fanciest of dinners from them, but they just get what they are making right, I guess. From their pancakes to their sausages to their eggs to their Filipino exclusives. It's just like Denny's is just like a good dining establishment for me. Okay, is everything here freaking... Oh no, not yet. Let me just make the strokes here. I think one of my favorite like menu items in Denny's is like their. I'm already like forgetting the name. But it's like a menu item where you get like 2 pieces of pancakes, 2 big pieces of pancakes, some sausages, some eggs, and a fruit bowl, I think. And then you also add in like a orange juice, I think. So orange juice, sausages, eggs, bacon. Oh my god, oh my god, I'm salivating just with the thought of freaking Denny's. My mom like sort of hypes Denny's up for its like Filipino exclusives, but I feel like I'm more like a fan of their American signature dishes. The one where they serve you either a slabs of pancakes or waffles. Those are like the highlights for me. Just make a few strokes here. Okay, nice. Alright, let me look at the wrestler here. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Sorry, I'm just sort of salivating on what the name of this freaking Denny's menu is. I think it's called the Grand Slam. Is it called Grand Slam? I think it's called the Grand Slam. Denny's Grand Slam. This is like one of the best things in their freaking menu. Oh my god, oh my god. Yeah, the original Grand Slam, that's pretty good. Like it feels like a tiny amount of food, but I feel like they just had the right amount of proportions that doesn't really guilt trip you after eating them. Their original Grand Slam, that's what I'm talking about. They serve it with coffee as well. But yeah, I'm a big Grand Slam enjoyer, I guess. Okay, let me just look at this animation one more time. Let's zoom out of this timeline. Play the animation. Okay, it's going for the bounce here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Let's make another frame, somewhere around the 201 mark. Frame over here, here, over here. Now, as for what I think the worst Denny's menu item is, I don't know if it's available in the American Denny's, but in the Filipino Denny's, they have this one menu item that's just a fried pork chop. And when I look at this when I tasted and looked at this for the first time, I felt like this was one of the most blandest pork chops I've ever had. It's not even like a juicy, thick pork chop. It's like it's a dried up, thin-looking pork chop. That's just like that's basically just a slab of sodium. When I tasted it for the first time. Granted, it's not a bad menu item, but I don't really feel like it's worth the price, I must say. It feels like something I can just get from like a local carinderia. You know, if they get like a decent enough chef, they can just cook that for me for a lower price. But this pork chop is in a Denny's menu. It's in a Denny's menu, so it's like, what is this? Why is this pork chop in this Denny's establishment? Oh boy. Okay. Let's look at this freaking. So you dry hump the freaking air and then he goes for the landing. Okay. Maybe just. Oh my god. His hand is gonna be like needing some estimation, I guess. Like do this. Do this. Oh my god. What is this? Maybe I'll just copy the last frame with this one. Oh boy. Oh yeah, Denny's, pretty good. And then after we eat at Denny's, I think my mom is also inviting me to go to a movie. And I'm like, Mom, what the frick are you... What's this plan you're having right now? Okay, I need to move this like sort of closer, I think. There we go. And then oh my god, okay. Oof. This is harder than it looks. What the heck? Okay, let's move this here. You know, always speaking of Denny's made me like wonder whether Denny's even has some competition here in the Philippines. I mean, I guess the closest competitor is, I guess, Pancake House. But like, is there any other one other than Pancake House? So you guys don't know, like Pancake House is also like a breakfast establishment, like a breakfast dining establishment like Denny's. But if you compare the two menus together, I feel like Denny's, or I don't know. Actually, Pancake House does have some great deals. I remember there was like one time I went to Pancake House, they had like a great deal wherein you can buy 2 different meals for a price that's like under like $10 or something. $10 US, I think. Just around like 300 pesos for like 2 different meals that you select, and that's pretty good if you're eating solo. Other than Pancake House and Denny's, I don't really see any other business going for the breakfast business, I must say. You can say like McDonald's maybe with its breakfast menu, or any other fast food establishment with their breakfast menu, but I don't really count those as like breakfast establishment, right? Like, you know, like high quality breakfast dining establishments. And when you come to look at it, I don't really see anything that's comes close to the size of Denny's or Pancake House. There used to be IHOP here though, but I don't really see any IHOP establishments here anymore. I remember what got me intrigued with IHOP was their many syrups that you can afford, that you can get right off the bat when you order a pancake from them. But now they're just like they just went AWOL, I guess. Like the IHOP group, like they're not here anymore, I think. I wonder why. Alright, let me just move some of these out. Like so. That's pretty good. So I just have to like check to see if the arms are looking good when it's animated. So far so good. good. This is not good. What's this? Alright. Nice. Whew. Hey, if you guys are just attending this freaking stream, you might be wondering why it's called I'm attending a run race tomorrow. Basically, why it's titled that, because I am attending a run race tomorrow. And this is just my last stream of me working before I finally hit the road and start running. You know, that kind of make it sound like I'm like running away from something. I like running away from something. Like I feel like some sketchy internet personality would have like said that to sort of hint on the fact that like they're like escaping from the cops or something. Like, I feel like that would be like a good message to say to your fans, just to hint just to give them like a hint about your like your sketchy personality or something. Like, this will be my last stream before I will I will start running a run race tomorrow, and then next thing you know, in tomorrow's news, there'll be like news of this guy like escaping the cops in a high chase road chase or something. And people are like, oh, that's the freaking run races you talking about. Oh my god. Anyway, that's funny stuff.
Take like either cards.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. Hey guys, that was just like my brother. He's going out now to go for the groceries. And he needed to get the membership card, the supermarket membership card from my desk here. I don't really know what the use of this membership card is. It was like something that's given by my mom. But up to now, I don't really know if it's like deducting money or anything from the groceries or anything, because I look at the receipts and it's the same price as what I estimated them to be. I mean, don't really get free stuff with it, so why is this freaking membership card still here? Anyway, let's see. Is this not complete? What the frick? Oh my god. Alright, there we go. It's hard to look at my strokes when the texture is around the same Anyway, there we go. Next one. Pick one over here. And then we go for this. And this. And this. Nice. By the way, guys, I am planning on releasing more videos on my second channel for, I guess, the rest of the summer, I guess. Because not only do I have like a backlog of, you know, highlights I want to upload there from my last time lapse I upload here on my main channel, I also have like a vlog, an IRL vlog I want to try and upload. It's like a very old vlog that I did back in like 2022, so I am sure that this won't like dox me or anything, and it doesn't really show my face. So I want to try and upload that onto my other YouTube channel at some point. The Morgan Ozpin YouTube channel. So if you want to see some of these vaulted content that's been stuck on my hard drive for the past couple of years, you can get a chance to see them on my second channel, I guess. Right. So I really don't know what to do with my second channel at this point. Like, do I just make more music in it? I feel like that's boring. Just make my other channel just be a music channel. So now I decided, hey, maybe I should make some some video highlights on my channel. But I'm like, no, this is just too bland. Gotta be like a way to like make my other channel more interesting. And I figured, I think, okay, maybe I have these other videos on my freaking hard drive. Maybe I can try to upload those onto the second channel, maybe. There are also some, I just realized that I also have some other, I have some like very old animations, like from the vanilla, the Stickman era, that I think have been lost to time, and I think it's about time I probably upload them to my second channel at some point. Oh my god. Shit, I do have like, I have, I don't think about it, I think I do have like a lot of lost media stuff under the vanilla log name that might fit in the second channel. So maybe I'll upload it there instead. Speaking of lost media, I think I need to give you guys like some bad news. If you're ever like some guy that likes to preserve like media and all, any project or any video project I did like pre-2020, it has been like, I guess, lost to time now. And by projects I mean like the old like video project files I used to make my old videos back in the day. They're just basically lost media at this point. I mean, sure, like the videos that came from those project files are in my main channel right now, but like the video project files for my old videos are just not here with me anymore. remember that it's because I had like I used another laptop for making my old Vanilla Stickman videos, but when I checked on it like before, the laptop that I used back then just didn't work anymore, and I don't have those files backed up anywhere, so it's like it's basically just lost, I guess. And it really got me like concerned, like, oh my god, if I don't find a way to back up my files right now, I might not be able to like preserve them for future references. Because I feel like because right now I'm using like the same laptop that I showcased in a video I did back then called like my VTuber setup or something. I'm still using that laptop up to now, and I think I'm now like at a point that maybe I'm now at the point of maybe considering switching devices at some point. But before I do so, I want to try and try to back up my media files at some point. And to do that, I think I might have to get a USB stick or something, a USB drive. I don't know. Hard drive maybe. Oh my god, all this talk about open source, and I'm not even the kind of person that would just actually save my files and stuff for future generations. Okay. Let me just adjust my freaking sitting position over here. Alright. There we go. Okay, let's make some more frames here. I'm just gonna drink water. Feeling a bit parched here right now. Oh. Yeah, don't forget to hydrate, guys. You're gonna feel the dryness of your lips at some point if you don't drink, and it's uncomfortable. Alright, there we go. Doesn't look right. Wait. Like this, maybe? And then let's maybe make the strokes here much smoother. Okay. Oh. I am raising my hands. This isn't. Oh shit. Oh no. Uh-oh. My computer is lagging and I can't do anything about. Oh, there we go. It's back. Oh, thank God. Okay. Oh, I just realized this is like the, I guess the last frame that I'm working on right now. And it's off the coloring, I guess. That's neat. You can play the animation from the start after this. Okay, if we can like speed run through this, we might be able to have enough time as well to also do the coloring stuff. So let's do that. Okay, there we go. Alright. Okay, I'll always speed running through this. I wanna just briefly mention that I am playing Castlevania Order of Ecclesia right now for the Nintendo DS. And I haven't played this game in a while. Mostly because I was just not into the difficulty spike from the previous Castlevania games to this when I first played it, but I decided to replay it. I decided to replay it for the past week, and after being so used to the whole Castlevania difficulty for the the past couple of Metroidvanias they published in the early 2000s. I feel like it's very refreshing to have a Castlevania that actually does challenge the player to like work for their goal of like defeating Dracula. As I grow as I grow as a Castlevania fan, you kind of get too used to the fact that the games can sometimes be too easy on your part, so anything that's like too hard is, I guess, now becomes like your way of like having fun. I don't know. I guess this is the way gamers like grow into liking games, I guess. Because I remember back then I was like not a huge like 2D platformer fan, and heck, not even a freaking Metroidvania fan in general. And when I first got into, my first ever Metroidvania, which was Metroid Zero Mission, I had like a hard time just defeating some of the bosses there, or even like getting through some of the like pathways to get to the bosses at that point that to other people might feel like a cakewalk, but when I got first into like playing Metroidvanias, I thought that this game is like so hard, even though this is supposed to be like an entry level point for most Metroidvania fans. But now, as a jaded person who actually knows what to expect from a Metroidvania, I feel like the harder games, like the genre, like Castlevania Circle of the Moon or Castlevania Order of Ecclesia, sort of became like something that really grew into me over time. Because I remember back then, when I tried to get to Castlevania through Castlevania Circle of the Moon, and I just couldn't like will myself to play the game because of how difficult it was getting through the starting section. But now, as a person who majorly dislikes the fact that the Harmony of Distance is just a rethread of Symphony of the Night, I just thought to myself, wow, I need something that's much better than this. And when I replayed Circle of the Moon way back then, I was like, oh my god, this is actually a hidden gem. So yeah, I guess it's like also the main reason why people are into Dark Souls, even though I haven't really played those games before. It's just, I guess people just like the difficulty spike in some games, I guess. I guess also the same reason why, you know, even if I'm, you know, I know game development is hard, I still push through it because it's like the reward for actually completing a game is rewarding. Because you went through like trials and tribulations, and now you're just sitting back and seeing what's the result of your labor, in a sense. I feel like there's like there's like a juxtaposition in terms of what gamers want. Gamers want something that wouldn't waste them time, and yet they like games like Dark Souls that just are absolute wastes of times by just how much you need to grind to like get used to the difficulty curve in their games, you know? Alright. That there. Oh, shit. Oh yeah, I've also watched K-pop Demon Hunters. I think I forgot to mention that. During my last stream, I remember like in my last stream I told people, oh, I'm going to talk about this thing, but I can't because I was like focusing on coding and shit. And to those who are there on my other stream, you now know what I was supposed to talk about, and that is about K-pop Demon Hunters. I think I just saw the hype for this one movie, and it made me wonder what the frick was so good about this freaking movie. And you know, it's a Netflix movie, so I didn't really expect that much from it, especially from a freaking movie that's called K-pop Demon Hunters. But I watched it and I was like so amazed by the style of the work of the movie. And I mean, it's a Sony Pictures animation, so they really are going for the Spider-Verse style in this movie. But that does have a unique twist in the sense that it sort of has this also anime look to their characters, from the way they express their mouths to to even like how colorful it is. It just kind of remind me of some of the K-pop videos I sometimes see on my Facebook feed, on my YouTube feed, I mean. Actually, also, yeah, Facebook feed is also where I sometimes see some people fangirl about their favorite K-pop groups. What else? What else can I say about this film? The story, I mean, I guess it's like, I guess it's a good story, I guess. It's not like trying to like blow you out. I mean, it's not. What do I say about the story? I mean, I feel like it's a story I've seen like multiple times. Like, this girl is trying to hide the fact that he's a demon, but in the end, he learns to just accept the person that she is at the end of the day. But I feel like with the audience that this movie is going for, that message just seems very unique to them. Considering that, you know, the main audience, I guess, for this movie are K-pop stans who really don't like showing their true colors. And if some of these Korean video essays are telling the truth about Korean culture, it's that I feel like it's that you know, in their side of the world, it's like, I guess, hard for people to just accept themselves for the way they are, because Korean culture is just littered with people trying to I mean, this is based off my own like impression of the reports and news around Korea. But Korean culture, I came to learn, is sort of littered with people trying to sort of like put this facade that everything is alright when in reality it's not. It comes down from the way they handle like makeup and fashion, to even how, I guess, they interact with one another. Like in Korean society, I feel like it's a life or death situation for them to portray themselves as part of an elite class of people, and showing that you're poor is just not like something that would pass for them. So a movie that's just about them, that's just about telling people that it's okay to be yourself, is, I don't know, I guess it's a pretty powerful statement, considering that it's concerning the people that they are aiming towards, which are K-pop stans that sort of try and, you know, emulate Korean lifestyle in their own like lives. So yeah, I kind of like the story of K-pop, of Korea, of K-pop demon hunters. Oh my god, the character designs, holy shit. I know there's like one nitpick I have with this one film. It's that I feel like they really watered down what it's like to be in the presence. They watered down what it's like to be a K-pop idol in that side of the world. Like I feel like this is like a good opportunity for them to explore explore things like how, like, when it comes to K-pop idols, you can like interact with other people of the opposite gender, or that the K-pop fans have this sort of parasocial relationship with their fans, in the sense. Like there was like this one time wherein there's this one scene in the movie wherein they show like a long line of people waiting for the main characters to come to this meet and greet, and there were also like shots of people waiting in the front line with their freaking sleeping bags and all. And I thought, oh, are they gonna explore what it's like to what's like to have parasocial relationships with this scene of these faceless people in sleeping bags waiting for these guys to come to their meet and greet. But no, it turns out the people that are in the front line are the main antagonists for the show. Which I guess now that I'm looking at, now that I'm saying that outright, I guess they are kind of hinting at the fact that maybe being desperate to wait for your favorite K-pop idol is sort of evil and sort of unhealthy for you in a way. But I'm like, they could have explored a little bit more about Korean society with this one movie. But even with these nitpicks aside, I still think K-pop Demon Hunters is good. A nice little thing to watch, I'd say. Though I almost had like this little bit of a what the fuck moment when the leader of the boy idol group started like interacting with the girl main character, and during this film they were like shipping those two together, you know, in a way. And you know, at first it felt like harmless stuff, but then you come to the fact that the guy character is like over 100 years old compared to this one female character, and I'm like, what the fuck? Are they gonna ship these two together? that relationship dynamic seems problematic. But no, I think for the most part, they treated these two characters like more so like people that want to help each other in a way with their own lives. Not in a romantic way, just, you know, like two people that trying to help each other in a way. And I think that's a good way to end the character dynamic in a way. I see people online like trying to ship these two together. I'm like, what the fuck, guys? Do you realize the age gap between these two people? So yeah, we are. That's like one thing I don't like about this about the freaking K-pop Demon Hunters. K-pop Demon Hunters fans right now. These people like shipping these two together. God. Okay. Alright, we're almost done with this. We can move on to coloring, I guess. Hey, how long have I been streaming? Alright, almost an hour. 2 hours, I mean. Okay. Stop time to color. Let me just drink some water. I can feel like static coming from my hands for some reason. Ah, okay. Ah, I need to crack my neck. Oh boy. Okay, so one stroke here, one stroke here, one stroke here, and one stroke here. Nice, right. And let's make one stroke here. Nice, speaking of which, did I make a stroke for the other frames here? Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, so there's like an arbitrary stroke I did here. Over here, and over here, I guess. Okay, so that's all the outlines done, I guess. Work on the coloring right now. Oh. So I just can't help but think that this guy's like dry humping around or something when he lands. Oh, that's not right. Let me make this. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's go to the color layer here. Switch this to fill. Let's change this to this color. Okay. All right. That's not it. Let's do this one. What have I been doing? Oh yeah, I have been I don't know what compelled me to do this, but just recently I've decided to play some old Nitro games. If you guys don't know what Nitro is, it is this old game hosting website that hosts a bunch of Flash games that are of major quality back in my day of 2008. Because if you guys rewind the clock to the mid 2000s and early 2010s, we didn't really have that much going for when it comes to free games. We don't have we don't have an iPhone or a freaking Android phone to work with. We just have a computer that runs like Windows 7 or Windows Vista, and you could play a bunch of Flash games on sites like y8.com. You should go to y8, but there's also like addictinggames.com, which I haven't really tried. Miniclip as well, and also what else is there? Basically, there were like a lot of games back then that I used to play on the internet that are run under the Flash Media Player. But the one game, or the one series of games that always got me thinking that it's the best thing that's ever happened were games that came from this one company called Nitro. Now I don't know that much about Nitro, but they seem to be like a game publishing company now that's making like a spin-off of Shovel Knight called Shovel Knight Dig. But before then, they were like a huge video game company in terms of the Flash side of things. I would say even like bigger than, I guess, Newgrounds back then. Back when, although to be fair, I guess Newgrounds by this point was already long dead, and Nitro was becoming a thing in 2008. So Nitro was like my go-to place to play some games, and every weekend when it's like time for me to rest from my week-long schoolwork, I would go to Nitro and play some games like Double Edge, Twin Shot 2, Toxic, Frostbite. Oh my god! If you guys are like 2000s kids, you would know that this is like the pinnacle of your childhood. Like these games like Double Edge, Twin Shot. I also played Nitro Must Die, but that's like a game that's like way past the golden age of Nitro. But it was also like Flipside, Jack Frost, Hot Air. What else is there? Castle Corp, I think. Rubble Trouble. All those games. They have been like my childhood that for some reason I've completely forgotten about until now, when I'm looking into some inspirations for games for the game that I'm developing, and the thought just came into my mind that, oh, I forgot that like Nitro existed before. So I decided to revisit my childhood and look into what Nitro is doing right now. And right now, I don't think they're making any Flash games anymore, because of course Nitro, the Flash Media Player died back in 2019, 2020-ish. But they are making a bunch of mobile games, which I feel like is a good transition from making Flash games. And so far, it looks like they're like one of the better mobile game developers out there. They made like this thing called Magic Touch, and of course they're also making Shovel Knight Dig. Shovel Knight Dig looks pretty good. I'm already forgetting what they also made. But they're still like, I feel like they're still like keeping up the quality of their games. But what I haven't realized is that after they went through their stint of playing of making Flash games, they moved towards making some HTML5 games, which are basically just, you know, Flash games that you can also play, but it's run through the HTML language that's present in all websites. And through the HTML5 player, they imported some of their games like Nitro Must Die, and also made some new games like Bad Ice Cream. Is Bad Ice Cream a game that was developed during their when they switched to HTML5, or am I imagining things? Anyway, this came out like way after I exited the whole Nitro fiasco, but I decided to like replay some of their old games. I played the first level of Frostbite 2, and I was like, oh my god, my inner child is healing or something. You guys don't remember, like Frostbite 2 was like one of like their earlier platformers, wherein your goal is to climb up this mountain as you avoid a bunch of these monsters and obstacles along your way of trekking up this mountain. And wow, nostalgia really does like kinda hit you in the fan, because I replayed this game and I thought that this was going to be like the best thing I've ever played, but in reality I feel like I've played much better games than Frostbite 2. It's a linear platformer, so it's not. I feel like the linear platformer genre is no longer something that hypes me up. Ever since I've explored other games that are more open-ended, like Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And I also played a bunch of other games, like of course Nitro Must Die. I remember playing Nitro Must Die for a little bit before I left the site entirely, and I think I thought this was like the best game that I've ever played back then. But then I replayed it right now, and I forgot that this was like just a basic shooter type game where your goal is to like eliminate all enemies, but there's like no like dynamic player action between you and the game. Like you can just like sit next to the spawner for most of these levels and just shoot your gun and you'll be done with it. Like there's like no like strategy to these games. Your goal is just kill enemies and you're done. And you know, like I think Nitro Must Die is like a very overhyped game in my opinion. Now that I'm replaying it now, it's only when you get to the boss fights, which I guess gets you like more. You get like a bit more strategy. But other than that, like Nitro Must Die has like a very simple game loop that you can easily master if you know what you're doing. And it just sort of turns into this sort of grind fest to me. But one thing that didn't age horribly is their puzzle games, I would say. I replayed Power Up, which is this one little puzzle game they published back then that was all about it's all about like connecting these two power heads together through blocks that have physics applied to them. And basically your goal is to like connect these two power heads together to create like an electrical line. And it was fun. It was fun like playing some of these puzzle games. And Icebreaker, oh my god, Icebreaker is I think pinnacle puzzle game. It's the pinnacle puzzle game for like Nitro, and they know because they made like 2 sequels to the original Icebreaker, right? And they even like made like a mobile port of it, which I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely makes sense to make Icebreaker a mobile game for iOS. Anyway, I came to realize that Nitrom is just a good place for me to find inspirations for small video game projects. I want to try and create a puzzle game in the future, or maybe try to create maybe a platformer wherein that sort of applies the same sort of level select screen that most Nitro games have. Those are like pretty good ideas. Like Nitro has like even though I don't like Nitrom's like some of Nitrom's games, they do have like a lot of interesting ideas that I want to try and implement. Like their ideas are something that I think an indie game dev could try and create in like a game engine like Unity or Godot or Unreal. Actually no, not Unreal. Unreal is in a 2D game engine, right? But yeah, I'm gonna try and see if I can recreate some of my some classic Nitro games in Godot. Although one of my favorite platformers in Nitro, I think, is maybe Super Treadmill. It's a basic, I would say, for technically speaking, this Super Treadmill is like a basic 2D platformer, like Mario. But in this case, what makes it special is that you are running through this treadmill that's constantly being bombarded by these obstacles that are being placed from the sky. So these obstacles are like falling from the sky and landing on this treadmill, and your goal is to try and lose as much weight as you can without like killing yourself. So it basically functions like one of those like old school Mario games wherein you have no choice but to run forward. But the strategy for this game is to make sure you stay somewhere in between the level viewport, because if you go too far right, you will like get crushed by the falling boxes from above, and if you go too far left, the same thing will happen. So your like sweet spot is like the middle. And I kind of like the aesthetic of Super Treadmill. It kind of reminds me of those old Atari games, but this has like more style to it. Consider that, you know, it's made after the whole Atari age, so I like Super Treadmill. My god, I think my most fond memories of Nitro is when me and my cousins would just go to a computer and during my family reunions and just, you know, play some Nitro games there. We would play games like Twin Shot 2, Cave Chaos, and Frostbite. No, not Frostbite. Jack Frost, yeah. We'll play games like that, and we would like just it's like trying to like be cooperative with each other to complete these levels. He would just like try and kill each other with these games, and it's like, oh my god, it's so fun. I think what makes Nitro so much fun is the co-op you can get with these games. But now I don't think that's likely gonna be a thing that you'll enjoy from Nitro, considering that, you know, most people are not really into Flash games anymore, or web-based games anymore. It's like for now, like as of now, like web-based games sort of have like two competitors in where they're supposed to succeed on. Like back then, they used to be a go-to place. Web-based games used to be a go-to place because of their convenience. But now we have like Android phones and iPhones that tell us what these that give us more convenience to play our games. And not mention they are also free, so since we have these app games now, we don't really need to like have web-based games unless you're like a nostalgia fan for like the 2000s or something. Like I feel like web-based games are dying, don't you think? It like died with the freaking death of Flash, coincidentally. And if you're ever like a web-based game player, you're either also a passionate game developer or someone who's still like using Newgrounds or something. It's kind of sad, in a way. Not that I wish that Android phones never existed, but you know, it's kind of sad to see like this one medium of gaming like sort of slowly die in a way. Okay, we need to make some of the... Oh. Alright, there we go. Which is why I guess that's why I'm wishing that no problems happen when I try to publish my game into the web as a web-based game. Because even though I know that it's easier for me to just turn my game into a .exe file, I still want there to be a community for web-based games, and technically there is still a community for them if you go into Newgrounds, but it's not as like big as before. And if things were to go into this trajectory for the next couple of years, we might not see any more web-based games. So might as well try to contribute to the community by making some games for those mediums. And not only games, but high quality games. I also like it when, you know, when games exist for everyone. Because I look at, you know, I look at like these PlayStation exclusives or Nintendo exclusives that like don't ever try to like put their games into different platforms. I'm like, oh my god, this is so scummy of them to do. You know, you can make lots of money if you just try to put your games somewhere else. No, you know, people are just they just don't want to listen to their fans and instead just try to put their games in their own like exclusive consoles or something. I don't like that with my games, so that's why I want to try and put it in a platform where everyone can play it, and that's through like web-based games. There we go. Alright, so a lot of you guys may, since I'm not talking about freaking Flash games, I might as well give you guys some recommendations for what I think are some of the best Flash games back in the day. And, you know, maybe some Flash games that are still, like, around, if they are ever, like, imported into HTML5. So one Flash game that I always go back to, even after I like no longer am into Flash games, is Super Fighters. Now, Super Fighters, if you guys don't know, is a 2D pixel art fighting game developed by Mythologic Interactive, and essentially the goal of this game is to kill the is to kill a bunch of CPUs and maybe even a player 2 if you're playing co-op. Along this like stages that are like so unique to one another. Whenever I play co-op with my friends on this one game, we would usually go to the rooftop stage of Super Fighters and just try to fight each other there, along with some CPUs, because for some reason Super Fighters doesn't allow for actual 4-player fun or 3-player fun. But I guess it makes sense because, you know, all the controls are sort of linked to your keyboard and all. But still, you know, it's like you know, if you want to make Super Fighters fun, you need to add some CPUs, of course. And there's not really that much, you know, button combinations like in any traditional fighting game for Super Fighters. Instead, what you get is like are 4 types of weapons you can collect throughout your rounds under Super Fighters. You can get like a melee weapon that can spawn somewhere around the stage, a gun, a grenade, or a Molotov, like a throwing weapon that you can equip. And what else is there? Like, there's even like I think a time stop ability that you can use to slow down time. And so what's unique about this fighting game is that instead of using button combinations to get rid of your opponents, you use these weapons and guns that you find throughout the level to defeat your enemies. And it's more so a matter of how well you can aim your gun or time a weapon throw, or the simplest of ways, like punch through your enemies, that you can like win the game, I guess. And it does have like that Super Smash Bros. Feel to it, but like more simplified, I guess. Another game I might recommend for people who are new to Flash games is maybe I'm about to say Riddle School, but I feel like the developer's past may be a problem to some people. But I remember back then, Riddle School was like my big, was something I always played every now and then. Even if I solved all the puzzles, I'm just a fan of the whole style that Riddle School is going for. So if you guys don't know, Riddle School is like this puzzle game back in the day where it's your goal to like escape school. And as a child back then who also hates going to school, the game's message really resonated with me in a way. Like, escape school, oh that's good, that's pretty fun. But of course the way you escape school is kind of a bit, you know, contrived. You need to use all these weapons you find, or these items you find in the school to help you on your escape. So basically it's basically a prison escape puzzle type of game, except it's set in a school setting. And your job is to somehow use these items to escape escape your school. And some items like are like the solution to most of these puzzles in Riddle School are like sometimes bullshit in hindsight. Like, to escape this like one classroom in the third game in the series, you had to like you had to like use this rubber band to like hit your professor with it. And like, if you look at a rubber band, you don't really see how this can be used as a way to distract a professor, but how Riddle School sort of makes this a crucial item is that you sort of fling it to the professor to take off his glasses. And I'm like, oh my god, is this really how we're gonna escape the freaking classroom for this one? Professor, like, the professor could just like reach down to find the glasses. But no, like, for some reason this professor is just not willing to move once his glasses is removed. Anyway, Riddle School was fun, but my opinion of it changed the moment I realized the controversial past that John Road was put into. I won't get into the details of it here, but let me just say that frickin' John Bro is not a good person. But if you also like puzzle platformers, puzzle games, I think you guys should also look into this one game called Nightmares: The Adventures. I think it was made like by some Spanish developer back in the day, because I remember there was like this one. It was like a series of games that had an English port to them for the first 4 games, but the last one didn't have an English port, so I had to like play through it while listening to all the Spanish like dialogue. So I played through this game, and I it's kind of reminiscent of middle school in a way, but instead of your goal being to escape school, your goal is to sort of turn your nightmare that you're plunged into, because you're technically asleep throughout the entirety of this game. Your goal is to turn the nightmare that you're put into a wonderful dream, and to achieve that goal is to either try and cheer up a main baddie that's making your nightmares like bad in a sense. So in like the first game, your goal is to relive the dream of this one skeleton to become like a musician. And then in the next game in the Nightmares the Adventures series, your goal is to calm down this ape that's being tortured by these vacuum monsters. I'm not realizing how weird this game was, but it's a pretty fun game. A pretty fun game to put your mind into. And I suggest you guys go check it out. And then I remember there was also this one game I used to play. I think it's like called Nesquik Adventures. It was like I think it was like an officially sponsored Flash game made by Nestle to promote like Nesquik. But the game that's in this like Flash game is actually pretty good in my opinion. It's like your goal is to like get rid of all the obstacles in your way as this bunny tries to automatically move from one side of the level to the next in a skateboard. And your goal is to get rid of all of these obstacles in time to make sure the bunny doesn't trip over himself. And I remember that was a pretty fun game, even though it's littered with a lot of advertisements for Nesquik. I never had Nesquik before. I've only like heard of Nesquik through my Australian relatives, and they brought Nesquik once to our house, a big tub of them. But after that, I just didn't like it anymore. But yeah, Nesquik Adventures is pretty good. What else is there? Frick. There was also like oh yeah, Mutiny. Mutiny was a Nitro game I played back then, which is basically just, you guys heard of Worms? Like that PC game Worms? Just think of Worms, but it's it's basically Worms but put into the Mutiny is basically just Worms but pirates. It's pirate Worms. The Mutiny is just basically pirate Worms. When you try to kill the other team by like maneuvering by tossing the members of your team around in this map. So yeah, like Mutiny is pretty good. I don't really have anything much to say other than to say it's basically just worms. Pirate worms. Oh, and also, oh my god, I forgot the Tropica. You guys remember Tropica? It used to be like a pretty big educational game back then. It was introduced to me by my cousin, and I remember going through all the islands just to see how I can like complete all the quests to get all the medals. I remember liking like Time Travel Island just because of the concept, like traveling around points of time to fix that space-time continuum or something. But anyway, the goal Tropica is like an educational game made by Jeff Kinney, surprisingly, or I don't know. It's either the Big Nate offer or the Dire from Big Nate offer. I don't know, but it's made by one of those guys, or at least associated with one of those guys. And the goal of this game is basically just a point-and-click adventure where you can maneuver this customized character you made around these different islands that have like their own quest lines and stuff. And your goal is to solve all these problems in a sort of point-and-click adventure style. All the while, you can also get these mini games as you adventure around these islands. It does kind of have the MMO feel to it, but except there's like no multiplayer stuff going on. But it's a very big world that you get to explore in Poptropica. And I think it's like the biggest Flash game there is. Is it? I mean, it is a Flash game, right? Am I hallucinating with that? Like it feels like a Flash game, even though it's like not made by people that you expect to be Flash game developers. Oh well. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop right now. I feel my freaking stomach begging me to eat something. But anyway, we'll end the stream right here, guys. We've made a little bit of some outlines and some colors for this one character. I'll probably work on this offline just to complete the rest of the coloring stuff here. And oh yeah, before we end, I'm just gonna cancel this. I want to show you guys the game that I'm making so far, or okay, the updates to the game I've been making so far. Hold on. Let me open up Godot. All right. Okay. Should probably like close my. Should I close my? No, I'll keep my freaking VTuber software here. Okay, Halliburton Wild Skies. Let's see, here it is. Okay, you can't see things, guys. You can't see anything yet, guys. And that's because I don't have screen capture turned on. But I will enable window capture once I am able to get my game engine running here. All right. Let's see. Hello, Godot. Okay, my Godot editor is now loading all the assets. Oh god, this must be a mistake. I should probably close my VTuber software for this one. Alright, okay, I'm gonna close up all the other unnecessary software here, like my VTuber software. Oh, what's that? Oh, there we go. Alright. Godot. There we go. Okay. So this is a Godot editor. But I wanna just go ahead and bring up my preview of my game so far. Let's play the game. Alright, let's play the game. Wild Skies. being sown? No, it's not being sown. Come on. Alright, this is probably a mistake. I'll probably just get rid of my VTuber stuff here. Yes, sir, end process. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna just close out of my VTuber software. And I'll switch the scene here. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So we're back in the Godot, the full screen capture here. If I open up here and I press the play button here, you guys can get a preview of my game so far. Alright. Alright, there we go. Okay, so I have a... oh my god. Forgot this guy exists. So I already created like a little bit of some stuff here. I can get rid of these enemies and they will explode. See, look at that. If they get killed, they explode. And if I collect this one power up here, I will have some... oh, there we go, see? I sort of have like this laser thing going on now. Oh, let me just replay the video here. Okay, let's wait for this to load. Alright. Okay, so I collect this one power up. I can like get rid of these enemies all at once. I even create like this little death animation for them. And the power up also is timed, meaning that it doesn't really last long. So that's pretty much like the how my game looks like so far. Now I created all the enemies. I've created one power up. I now need to create a spawning system for this on either the next stream or maybe offline. I feel like the spawning system may be complicated, because I want this to be an endless space shooter, wherein the game only ends if you die or get killed by one of the enemies. So I need to like create a spawning system that will not only spawn the enemies but also delete them in case if they were to like wander off stream for too long. So we need to create that. So that'll be something that for future I need to do. But for now I need to worry about my run race for tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. Now go read a book. Bye bye.